Welcome, everyone, to the Elevator Show, where we look at who in the last month has made their Hall of Fame case for up or down. And I'm Kirk Buchner. I run NotInHallOfFame.com along with a bunch of other sites, but I can't do that without my contributors. And I've got somebody who I would like to think we're good friends at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. From my friend from the cheese state. Is it a cheese state? What do you call that? The Badger state? I don't know.
We're the Badger State, the Cheese State, the Dairy State.
So what if you're a badger that's sort of like lactose intolerant? Man, you're fucked, huh? But
Yeah,
Kirk Mouradian, you're not going to worry about that.
I am not. No.
You're not. And we're going to look at the last 30 days in April of 2025. Who's helped their case and who hasn't. And as we're doing this, we're in the midst of the playoffs of the NBA and the NHL. And always, you and I don't tell each other who we're talking about. Sometimes we match, sometimes we don't. Lately, we haven't matched at all,
Yeah, no, we maybe tell each other like how many ups or downs we have, but
Mhm.
we keep the names a secret until the show airs.
Which has
Or
sort of like been fun. I've got a couple ups, I got a couple downs, and I have a
Mhm.
couple. I don't know where to put them because maybe they're not ups or downs. Maybe they're sort of like an asterisk for later.
All right. You're on the elevator watch list.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a good idea. Sort of like put it that way.
All
Uh,
right.
should I start?
Sure. Why don't we go ahead and kick it off for us?
All right, so I'll start with an elevator up. Can I do two, if that's all right?
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay, so the NHL or the Hockey Awards have announced their candidates for the end of season awards, and a couple of them sort of stick out to me. For the Defenseman of the Year, the Norris Trophy, we've got three names, but I really want to focus on one. Cale Makar, who's probably going to win, but I don't know for sure. Your guy, Quinn Hughes,
Yep.
from Vancouver. But there's somebody who just became a nominee for the first time. And when we say a nominee, that basically means they finished in the top three. And if you finish in the top three, you're more or less locked in to get either a first team or a second team postseason All Star.
Mhm.
And that man is somebody I actually watched play live this year, and I blanked about it. I did that with Ron, our friend Ron, because he came up here because he wanted to see a Kraken game, and he picked a game that was cheap, which was against Columbus.
Makes sense.
Right, but it was sort of fun. We had a lot of fun that night, and it was Zach. So the person I'm looking at is Zach Werenski.
Mhm.
Uh, he's 27 years old. The Norris Trophy, right or wrong, and Evan and I have talked about this a lot. Our good friend Evan Nolan, who is the co-owner of the site and the person I do the Hall of Fame show with. The Norris Trophy seems to be more of the offensive defenseman of the year as opposed to the pure defenseman of the year. And he pitched, I don't think he's wrong with this, to actually make a pure defenseman award. Uh, are you old enough to remember Rod Langway?
Yeah, Capitals defenseman.
Yeah,
I think he was one of those guys that went bucket list.
yeah. I mean, like Langway didn't score, but like he was the lockdown defenseman,
Yeah.
and he won a couple Norris's trophies, and he's in the Hall of Fame as he should be.
Right.
But since him, it's been rare that you see a stay-at-home defenseman win a Norris.
Yeah. Usually it's the guys like Paul Coffey.
And these three people here, because Werenski's not that guy either.
No, Makar, at least he plays all situations. So he's on the PK, he's on the power play. Yeah, obviously 5-on-5, but
Right.
Quinn Hughes doesn't quite get the PK time that would really kind of set him apart like Makar is with playing in all situations.
Yeah, and Werenski's good on both sides of the ice. I'm not gonna try and take away from that. But when we look at his year, he played a very big part in the Four Nations Cup,
Mhm.
which you and I, if they okay, when they do that again, That's what we have to do. Like we were saying before we went on that, okay, hey Chris, come over here. You know what? Let's figure out where they're doing that, and that's where we're gonna hang out. What do you think?
Yeah, it
Think our wives will let us do that?
uh, maybe depending on time of the year. It'll be kind of cold, so we'll see.
Yeah, I loved your whole soft maybe because I have the same thing going on here, but that would be actually kind of cool. We sort of like do that, go to the game in Canada, go to the one in the US, and then the bleachers because I can't I don't think we can afford the good stuff.
No.
I'll have my Canada jersey over your USA thing, and we'll sort of like do one of those things when they're doing the national anthem, like, hey, unity, it works, right? But Werenski is a finalist for the first time. He scored 82 points. Last year was 57, which was the best he had before. As I said, you can win, you can get to the hall without a Norris. You can get to the hall without sort of even be a first team, second team all-star. That's really, really hard. And at the very least, he's made a giant jump to the US Hockey Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And he wasn't on my radar. I don't think he's on a lot of people's hockey radar because, bluntly, why would he? Because he plays for Columbus. Columbus had that interesting run mid to late season where, wait a minute, could they actually make the playoffs?
Yeah, they stretched out right to the end there with Montreal for that eighth seed.
Right. But didn't happen. And he's the highest scorer for a Blue Jackets team that overperformed. He's an elevator up for me.
Yeah, no, that's a great selection there. As you mentioned, somebody that wasn't really kind of on the radar as being a Norris candidate at the start of the season, but clearly played well beyond what he's done to this point, and kind of got himself now as somebody that's going to be looked at going forward as, is he one of the top three, top five defensemen, offensive defensemen in the NHL? And we'll
Yeah.
see how it goes next year. Now you got the first one done. Now back it up.
Well, he's 27, so he's in his prime.
Yep.
Obviously, he's not in the same category as Cale Makar.
You
But
are.
exact, well, yeah, very few are.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have to be to get into Toronto.
No, great point.
Yeah. I got another hockey one, but I don't know if you have any hockey that you want to sort of like jump in
I
here.
I, I do, but I'll let you take a roll with it because I kind of have a feeling where you're going.
Interesting. Okay. So in terms of the voting for the finalists for the awards, there's only one person who is a nominee for both the Hart and the Ted Lindsay Award. And for those who may not know what the Ted Lindsay Award is, and there's a good reason why you wouldn't. The Ted Lindsay Award is basically the Hart Trophy for voted on by all the players. And Tampa Bay just got eliminated yesterday. But there's one hell of a fucking player right there who will win. Well, he did win his third Art Ross, and that's Nikita Kucherov. He could potentially win his second Hart Trophy. I think right now he's already a Hall of Famer. I would put him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. 994 points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but does when it's 803 games. He's the only one on both of those and could conceivably not win either. It's a
Yeah,
weird, weird thing.
he's had a great season.
Hmm?
Tampa obviously didn't quite get the job done against Florida. They're home now for the year, but it wasn't because of what Kucherov did to get him there. He was healthy this year, played out of his mind. When you mentioned the player up for two awards, I wasn't the player I thought you were going to go with, but
What was that?
I thought you could go Hellebuck being Hart nominee and Vezina. Um,
No, I'm well, okay. Continue this and then I'll sort of like go my Hellebuck thing, but no.
sure.
Because
Yeah,
I'm a Jets fan, for those wondering, which is why you would have thought that. But yeah,
right. So, and that's obviously, like you said, Kucherov's competition there for Hart is Hellebuck and
Leon Draisaitl.
Draisaitl. Yes.
And for the Ted Lindsay, it's Makar and McKinnon of the Avs,
Yeah.
which is
Interesting.
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, with all due respect to Leon Draisaitl, who I'm a big fan of, Connor McDavid is the better player
Hmm.
on Edmonton. Hellebuck, I mean, it's one of those things too, how you determine the Hart Trophy, or how you determine the Ted Lindsay for that matter, which is it the best player, or is it the man who you take him out is the most valuable? It's really tricky. And
Yeah, especially when you talk about Draisaitl like that. I'm sorry, didn't mean to step on you there.
oh, go ahead.
Um, because like you mentioned, you think of Edmonton, you think of McDavid. That's his team. Draisaitl is an excellent player, but he's the number two player on that team.
And he'll still be well, and he's still a former Hart winner. Yeah, he won a
Hmm.
Hart. Draisaitl obviously is. I'm going to flip over here. Look at that. Look at my German jersey. Look at that here. Hi,
Nice.
Chris. I'm the first person you ever met that owns a German hockey jersey.
You are.
Yeah,
You are. That's very cool.
Deutschland. But anyway, it's fascinating that he's the only one for two. I wanted to check out if that's rare air with a guy who may not win either. I could see Hellebuck winning the Hart, and then I don't know. I mean, it's not like the voters are going for the last three. They've already voted.
Oh,
So
right. Yeah. I mean, they just haven't announced any of the awards. I'll do that at the
yeah,
end of year
I mean,
show.
Kucherov at this point, I mean, like he was one of those underdogs in a lot of people's views. So like I'm super happy for him. I think at this point he's a Hall of Famer, regardless of what happens right now, first ballot.
Yeah, I think you used bus uh, the bus analogy that our friend Jack came up with or shared with us. If you were to step off a curb and get hit by a bus, would he be a Hall of Famer based on what he's done now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, isn't that the nicest way to look at it? But based on what he's done now, if his career were to end, would he be there? And I agree with you. I think he's there, and you're probably right with him being a first ballot guy.
And he's got the finger jewelry. So I mean
That helps.
yeah, that for me is enough. All right, so I'm gonna cede to you and you
Yeah,
go anywhere you want.
sure. Well, we're talking hockey, so I'll stick with hockey and kind of double dipping here on this one because I mentioned it on our last All In show. Um, Gab Landeskog being able to come back from 3 years out injured,
Mhm.
um, contribute to the Avalanche here in the first round of the playoffs. Um,
It's a good one.
Maybe those 3 years may have cost him his shot at the Hall of Fame, but you know, the Masterson Award, he already write his name in for next year's winner for perseverance
Yep.
because you don't you don't persevere 3 years to come back and not be recognized for that. Um, Scored a goal the other night for Colorado at home, helped him win the game there. Wearing the C, he is the heart of that team, and his return it's needed. It's not just a nice story; it's needed because they're in a dogfight with Dallas, one of the best teams in the league in the Western Conference this year, and either one of those teams could come out and be the Western Conference representative in the finals this year.
Mm.
So coming back, scoring a goal, leading the team again. Um, like I said, it's 3 years lost, but 3 years of fighting to get back on the ice and to be able to do it, that means a lot. So That's my hockey guy this week or this month.
No, that's a great one. Do we have any other hockey?
No, I have Real Sports.
Okay. Uh, I have a baseball eh,
Okay.
and a baseball. I have a baseball down for sure.
I got
And
a baseball up and a baseball down. So if you want to go there, we can go there.
let's do baseball. Go ahead.
All right. Up or down?
Whatever you want, man.
All right. I'll go up. This one's again a little bit of cheating here, but Aaron Judge, the start he's
Hmm?
had to his season here, basically just destroying pitching. Yeah, okay, some of it was Milwaukee Brewer pitching, which kind of kind of got to take that with a grain of
Hey,
salt there.
so, sorry, I'm laughing out loud because our good friend Chris is from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Wisconsin.
just
Actually,
outside of Milwaukee, but
okay, yeah.
a suburb, a fancy suburb called West Allis.
All right, so when we watch what the Wayne's World first thing with Alice
Milwaukee.
Cooper. Yeah. All right, so yeah. Okay. I just wondered. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
West Allis, home of the Pettit National Ice Center, which is still an Olympic training facility. So we got that going for us.
I dated an Alice. That doesn't count. No. Okay.
No, different spelling. um, but yeah, so he has just gotten off to a rip-roaring start here. The first month of the season, hitting well over 400. Already 10 home runs, leading the league in pretty much every offensive power category you could think of. He's 10 years in. This is his 10th season. So he's got his rookie season, which was kind of, just a little more than a cup of coffee, but not really a full season. You got the 2020 season, which was whatever you want to consider that. And then this season so far. So right now he's got 7 full seasons on his resume.
Mhm.
6 All-Star games, 6 All-Star appearances, 2 50-plus home run seasons, OPS leader, not gold, silver
Yeah.
sluggers. He's done a lot. Has he done enough though at this point, or does he still need to build his resume? Because
How many years has he played? Has he done the 10 years?
so this is his 10th season. Like I said, you really count this as being like his 8th full season because of the rookie season not really being much, and the 2020 season just being what it was with the government response to COVID. So he's got the MVP awards. He's got 2 of them. Kind of looking at his career, it's like you think he's there already, but it's kind of got me looking. It's like, well, Dale Murphy had back-to-back MVP awards. He had 7 All-Star appearances. He
Yeah,
had a
but
bunch of Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers.
Dale Murphy is no Aaron Judge.
No, he's not. They
Yeah.
played different eras and different impacts in their eras. But just kind of like had me think is like because I at first I thought, yeah, he's there already, but then it's kind of looking back, it's like, where is he? So
Uh,
I tend to lean that he is, but
Same.
it doesn't hurt to keep having these massive seasons to just take any doubt out of the equation there.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think so also too. Aaron Judge is the man.
Right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Face of the league. Yeah.
Yeah. Face of the league and okay, can I do another baseball one here?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, jump in.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stay in New York City. Somebody who on the other side of the league, I'm gonna go with Pete Alonso.
Okay.
Pete Alonso is an amazing power hitter, but like right now, he's gonna win the. Well, I'm assuming he's gonna win. I think that's a safe bet. He's gonna win the National League Player of the Month. He's batting as we're recording this. He's batting 343 with a 221 OPS plus. Alonso is in a contract year, and he's playing like he's in a contract year.
He didn't get signed until late in the process this past offseason too. He was
Mhm.
he was looking. I don't know if he was looking for the term or the money, but it just didn't materialize for him. He ended up going
He's
back
playing
to.
like he wants money.
He went back to New York again. Yeah,
He's playing like he wants it. He is right now the well, obviously baseball's not going to do an MVP in 1 month, but he would be. Yeah,
yeah.
and
Player of the month though. I see where you're going there for sure, and that's
yeah, and he was never a great contact hitter, and he's batting right now. Again, like I say, 343.
Mhm.
Pete Alonso does not bat over 270 regularly.
No. He's the long ball hitter, not the contact hitter, as you put it.
And the Mets right now are one of the best teams in the league.
Mhm.
So I have Pete sort of like in that elevator, just like saying like he's doing this, trying to like go up.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to give him props because I'm very impressed.
yeah, no, for sure.
Do you have another baseball?
I do, but it's a down. Shall we?
We
Shall
can
we
do
get?
that. I have a baseball down too. So
All right,
let's see if it's the same.
all right. We're staying on in the Big Apple.
Okay.
Their big offseason acquisition by a trade
Okay.
to solidify the ninth inning.
Mhm.
Devin Williams.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Holy
So
crap. That's
yeah,
breaking my heart.
it is. Obviously, you mentioned
You're a Brewers
Wisconsin
guy, so
Brewer
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, watched him. Rookie of the Year,
Hmm.
reliever of the year awards. Basically unhittable with the Brewers.
Hmm.
Um, and I think both teams lost that trade. I mean, look at who New York gave up to Milwaukee and what they received back in Williams.
My
Neither
apologies.
one's,
Who did they give up? I know it's a pitcher.
yeah, Nestor
Cortez.
Cortez, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, okay, yeah.
minor leaguer. They just brought him up recently.
Okay, yeah, but Nestor's.
Cortez was the big name coming back,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So starting pitcher, and
And I love Devin, but yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even think
yeah,
of that. But yeah, go ahead.
and relief pitchers, they're a finicky bunch. They very some of them tend to be every other year type guys where they get a contract, they have a dominant year, they go somewhere else, and the year after they can't get a guy out, and then they go back to where they were, they're dominant again. Um, Williams is not your typical power pitcher. He's more of a pitcher with the airbender nickname because of how the ball moves on him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's still got time to, we're 1 month into the season, but
Well, you
he's not been good. He's not going to be the closer going forward here for a
yeah,
while,
I'm gonna say.
anyways.
Yeah.
Um, so he's got to figure out. New York is notorious for being tough for players to settle in and do what they did elsewhere. Milwaukee, there's not a whole lot of pressure. You get your couple of beat writers that follow Tim around, ask you a couple of softball questions during the season, and maybe get some tougher questions when it comes to postseason if you're there. But New York is a different animal all the way around. And pulling for him to pull out of this nosedive here he's in early in the season can turn this around. Um, so hopefully he can get it figured out and get back to doing what he had been doing up to this point.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I was watching a YouTube video and I apologize because I can't remember who put that out there, but it was basically about the belief that he's tipping pitches. And I love Devin Williams in that 2020 year when, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think he's the only person to win a Rookie of the Year as a middle reliever. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, he,
I
he
thought that was
wasn't.
pretty cool.
Yeah, he wasn't the closer because
Not
Hayden
that
was still
year.
there.
Not that year. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So like which I love those middle relievers. So like for me personally, when he won that, became my guy.
mhm.
For whatever that's worth. Uh I have been sort of like watching him fall and it's sad. It's sad to watch and just sort of like why went in that YouTube rabbit hole? Like what's going on here? So like
Yeah,
that's sort of like where it's like, well, he's tipping.
yeah,
And he's young, he can get out of this, but as we've seen with pitchers, goalies, shit gets in your head.
It's tough. You got to be mentally tough, and
Yeah.
he hasn't had to fight through anything like this before. So,
Mhm.
like you said, I'm pulling for him to pull out of it as well.
Yeah.
He was nothing but class here with Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I just want to see him turn it around and succeed out there.
Yeah, same. I've got one more baseball person here as an elevator down. Uh, Former Blue Jay, but really did well with Oakland, the then Oakland,
Mhm.
and Texas now. Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
And Marcus Semien, second baseman with the Rangers. Marcus has always been a shitty starter. Always. But he's 34. He's batting currently, as we're recording this, 182 with an OPS plus of 49. Three times he's finished third in MVP voting. But I'm looking at the overall thing for a second baseman. Right now, he's got 240 home runs as we're recording this, 1,525 hits, a B WAR of 45.5. The current bar to get in the Hall of Fame is 69.5. He's 34. You need two, at this stage, two really good years to sort of like get to that spot. And the older you get, the harder it is for you to sort of like rebound. I like Marcus. I hope he does. I really do, but this is the worst April he's ever had.
When, like you mentioned about the history of his start, he's kind of been a slow starter and
Yeah.
is able to kind of, as the weather heats up, he heats up kind of player.
Mm-hmm. No, he has,
The
but
Yeah,
he's
the
never come from
older
behind like this.
right, the older you get, the tougher it is
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm.
And at some point, age is never lost. It catches up with
Undefeated.
everybody. Yep. So is it is that what's going on? Is it just, you know, he's gonna figure it out here in the next week and the start will be forgotten? We'll
I hope
see.
so. I hope
Yeah.
so. He had one monster year with the Blue Jays, and as a Toronto guy, I mean, like, I love that. So, but I don't know. I'm also a realist, man.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. What do you got next?
I got one more up for basketball this time.
Up for basketball. Okay, I can't
Yeah.
wait. Go ahead.
All right. So this one here, a name that's going to be probably unfamiliar to most out there. Dyson Daniels. So
Mhm. No, I
just
know who it
recently
is. Yeah, go ahead.
recently named the most improved player in the NBA this year.
Mhm.
So Australian, former top 10 pick. I think he was eighth overall for New Orleans a couple years back. A couple of bench type role seasons with New Orleans. Gets traded this past offseason as part of a big package for Deontay Murray and is now playing in Atlanta. And Atlanta has made him a starter, and he has rewarded them with becoming the most improved player in the league. It, he was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award that went to Evan Mobley, but that probably sets him up to be on that defensive team of the defensive team for 2025 here, 24-25. So probably another award coming his way later in the year. But to kind of get an idea here, he led the league with an average of 3 steals a night. And that's something that just doesn't
He
happen.
won the Seals title?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he led the league in steals on average.
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. His points per game average was 14. Last year was 5.8.
Mhm.
So he started every game this year for Atlanta, where, like I mentioned, last 2 years with New Orleans, he was more or less a bench player with some couple of starts here and there.
Hmm.
Most improved player of the year, it has helped other players kind of move up that ladder. Former winners do include Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Mhm.
Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Butler, but then also other guys like Scott Skiles and Monta Ellis. So it doesn't necessarily mean nothing, but it also doesn't necessarily mean everything. It's
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
his name's on the ballot now twice for postseason awards. He won one. It's going to be easier for him to get his name on the ballot again next year as long as he continues to be the kind of player he was this year. And now he can start looking at trying to get onto some other ballots here at the end of season ballots. So just a different name that I wanted to kind of
No,
tip
I
my
love
hat
it.
to and
No,
and
I
uh,
think that's great. Yeah.
yeah, recognize what he did.
What else you got? I have only one down.
That's my last one for tonight.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'm going to close with something that it's not your jam, but it's women's basketball.
Okay.
Uh, so you probably know who she is, Chennedy Carter. Chennedy Carter is she played for Chicago last year, and she's most known, sadly for her, for pretty much body checking Caitlin Clark. Does that ring a bell? No? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Uh,
I know Caitlin Clark
mhm.
was, for lack of a better word, abused on the court this year as a way to try
Well,
to stop her game.
well, nobody did that more than Kennedy Carter.
Okay.
Kennedy Carter is a good player. She's a very good basketball player. However, she's a shitty teammate. And long story short, as the WNBA is sort of like setting up their season, which is going to happen, I guess, starting next month, maybe this month, I don't know. Kennedy Carter played in Chicago with Angel Reese, and God, I hate using this word. Do you remember when we were talking about that and there was a thug culture that I said, elevator down, the coach is going out.
Yeah. Got fired at
Well,
the end of the year. Yeah.
yeah, that's what happened here. And okay, fine. The coach is gone, but nobody wants this player who averaged 17 points a game. 17 points a game. That's pretty good, right?
Especially for the women's league, the scoring is not as prolific as the men's league. Yeah.
Right. She's 25, 26.
Okay.
She's got a lot of juice left. Nope, nobody wants her. And there were some articles that said Caitlin Clark's biggest nemesis is gone. Caitlin Clark had nothing to do with that. Chennedy Carter was a liability from day one. She went drafted in 2020. Youngest person to score 30 points in a game. I don't know if that's still the case. That's pretty good. Was the runner-up for the Rookie of the Year, and as I'm looking back, she should have won that. But Atlanta, who drafted her, suspended her when she wanted to fight a teammate. Not good. Treated the Sparks, who barely used her and let her go, and the coach, Derek Fisher, you know Derek Fisher, just said, fuck this shit. So she didn't play in the WNBA for 2023, and 2024, the Sky signed her, Chicago, and she was actually the leading scorer. 17.5 points. That's good.
Yeah.
Where's she playing this year in the WNBA? Take a guess.
based on your description, I'm going to say she's not been signed yet.
Or she has.
Oh, she has. Okay.
Yeah, from this great team in Mexico. So here's a woman who can play. She can hoop. Uh, she had a run in China where she was averaging nearly 40 points a game. She fucked it up. She fucked it all up. And you can't get on the Hall of Fame elevator if you don't even know where the elevator is. And that is my biggest elevator down for a long period of time. I wish her the best. I kind of like players who are tough. I love tough players. I really do. But if your teammates don't love you, what good are you?
Your teammates make you better. You make your teammates better. It's how the game works. At this point, if she's not even in the league right now.
Well, not only she was not in the league. Did you ever watch any of the Unrivaled 3-on-3?
No.
Okay. She wasn't part of that. If she was that good, do you not think that maybe Kelsey Plum, and I apologize to the other co-owner, would they not have had her as part of that? They didn't. So now she's fucked. I hope that I wish the best for her. I kind of like thug players. I do. But she's unemployable in the current basketball league.
Yeah. That's going to be tough. You got to prove it again. As you mentioned, she looked like she seemed to have done with time in China. A little bit closer now down in Mexico, you said. So maybe she can prove again that she can be a teammate that can be relied on and not a problem in the locker room or on the floor.
Yeah. And she's like that 10 to 20 player right now. So, which is still hard enough to get in the into the Basketball Hall of Fame, right? But still, you're not going to get there if you're not in that 10 to 20, which she is. She's that good. Ah, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm cheering for these women, Chris. I don't know. What the hell am I doing wrong?
None. Just you need them to help you out.
Insert joke there. Anywho, I guess this brings the show to a close. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, have some fun. We do so much more here at nonhalloffame.com. We've got a lot more shows coming up.
Check it out. A lot of stuff. Something for everybody. Hey, you disagree with us on any of our takes here tonight? Leave a comment down below. We'll be happy to read it and respond.
Yeah, be nice to Chris. Be mean to me.
It's all good.
Take care, everybody.
Good night.